Ladies and gentlemen of the motorcycling community, your older person needs you. Hello, I'm Kath Davis. This is the Rex Physiotherapy Flash Mob, and we're coming to you from the positively tropical Isle of Man. And we're very much all missing you this year. Now then, as we're preparing to go into lockdown, there are a number of excellent resources out there on the television and on the internet for exercises for our older people. However, not all of our older people have the internet or the television. Some of them can't hear very well, some of them can't see, and some of them might just have trouble remembering. So the whole point of this video is to teach you guys some simple, really simple, basic exercises that you can pass on to the older people in our lives. Now then, the video itself is coming in 3 parts. Second part is just exercises. No music, no frills, no talking, so please feel free to fast forward to that bit now if you'd like to. The first part, we've got some talking in. If we explain to you why we're doing the exercises, you might then find it easier to sell it to our older people. If people understand the benefit of what they're doing, they're more likely to do it with us. The third part, and I'm really looking forward to this bit, interviews with the lovely Flash Mob here, Joyce next door, and Pete Stacey, who has had a lifetime in motorcycle riding. Okay, 5 simple exercises in sitting, so here we go. Right then, you ready, Flash Mob?
Yeah.
Okay, Here we go. Simple exercise. Tap, 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 tap. Heels, 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 heels. Tap, 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 tap. Heels, heels. You just keep that going for me. So why are we doing this really simple exercise? Well, every time we take a step, you have got to be able to pull your foot up towards you to clear the floor. And it's as easy as that. In addition, we're mobilizing the ankle and we're helping bringing down swelling and keeping our circulation going. Okay with that one? Okay, we can rest it there. Second exercise, leg straightening. This exercise is designed to target the muscles that run down the front of the leg. You're right. You might need to do a couple to start with. I should just point out that every time we move a joint, we start to lubricate it from the inside. So if the first few times you do these, knees a bit grindy or it's making a strange noise, providing it doesn't hurt you, you can keep going with this. Now, muscles down the front of the leg, really important in helping us stand up and sit down. You all right, Pete? You warmed up?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you. Okay, we can rest there. Next exercise, we're coming on to shoulders. Think sultry, shoulder rolls. Now, it's much easier when your older person starts this exercise if they do one side and then the other. And it doesn't matter if they go forwards or backwards, just keep it comfortable for them. How you doing?
All right. Thanks for your physio.
Thank you. Joyce has had a bit of a gammy shoulder, but we've got it all right now. Okay.
My Thursday afternoon class in this, they'll laugh.
No, they won't. They're going to love it. Trust me. Okay. All right, we'll just rest it there. Always mobilize the shoulders before you start to try and turn the head, okay? Heads and necks aren't going to move very well if your shoulders are all locked up. So now we're just going to look as far as we can to the right side, back to center, and then as far as we can to the left. Now, if we're going into lockdown, we're not doing things that we normally take for granted, like crossing the road, for instance, and needing to look both ways, or looking over our shoulder to reverse the car. So whilst again this seems really, really simple, it's a really important exercise. One more each side, guys. And then we can stop it there. Last exercise in sitting, arm punches. Now, our older people can sometimes get gnarly and pinchy shoulders, so it's really important that when they do this exercise it doesn't hurt. So we don't have to take the arms up too high, but all we're going to be doing is just punching across the body. Now, if we can bring in a little bit of trunk rotation with it, that's also good. We're not striding out like we usually do when we're going down the road. We're not swinging our arms as we usually do. We can easily get stiff thoracic spines or a real stiff trunk that doesn't want to rotate anymore. And it's as easy as that. So that's it for the seated exercises. All right? Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay. Sit to stand. Okay. Functional exercise, dead easy. Up we go. Now, some of our older people might need to use the chair arms, that's fine. Some of them can just rest their hands on their legs. Some of them might be strong enough to do it with their hands across their chests. You know, one thing I would say as we're going through these, when you've been sitting for a while, your blood pressure can drop. So if your older person is coming into standing and they feel a little bit dizzy, teach them the rule of 10 seconds. They've got to count to 10 before they step off or go and do what they need to do. How are you doing with that, Joyce? Are you all right? You've done it. She's finished. That's it for the seated exercises. Let's move on to the standing. We're nearly there. First exercise in standing then, hip sways. Now then, these hip sways, although they're simple, they're gently mobilising the ball in the hip socket. They're challenging our balance a little bit as we're moving from side to side, and they're just limbering up the lumbar spine there. Hip sways. This is a great exercise to do when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, so you can grab your hands on the work surface. Okay with that one, Flash Mob? Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you. Okay, next exercise. Quite simply, shallow knee bends. Again, your older person can be holding on to something, or they can just do it in space depending on their ability. Any of these exercises can become to a speed, a depth, or intensity that suits them. And obviously common sense always prevails. Some people won't be able to do the standing exercises at all. Next exercise, quite simply, taking your foot towards your bottom. So just make sure you grab a hold, hey? That's lovely. And then if your older person can't remember or can't forget or just finds all of this completely boring or pointless, just give them, here we go, 10 seconds. 10 seconds to do whatever you want. Here we go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Thank you. That's it for the standing exercises. Right now, you don't have to remember all of these, okay? You can just teach them one of them. You can just pick up the phone and say, Granddaddy, you're tapping your feet. Mum, you remember to kick your bum. It's dead simple, but we've got to do them. It's so important if we go into lockdown that we keep our older people as mobile as we possibly can. So, next part of the video is just the exercises with no speaking, no frills. Thank you very much for watching. Here we go. Toe taps and heel bangs. Toe, 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 heel, 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 heel. And last set, toe, 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 heel, 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 heel. Thank you. Next exercise, leg straightening. Here we go. Last 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1. Thank you. Next exercise, shoulder rolls. Here we go. One side, and then the other. One more each side. Thank you. Next exercise, head turning. Don't force anything. All the way to the left, and center, and right, and center, and again, and center, and right, and center. Don't do too many of these because you might get dizzy. Thank you. Next exercise, arm punches. Here we go. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Next exercise, sit to stand, which we're going to do twice, but you can do as many times as you like. Here we go. That's it for the seated exercises. Standing exercises, hip swings. Last 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next exercise, little dips. Six, 7, 8, and just hold it there. Next exercise, quite simply, foot to bottom. Here we go. And if we've got 8 more after this one, last 8, 7. Thank you. Last exercise, 10 seconds of doing whatever you want to. Thank you very much indeed. Peter Stacey, thank you so much for helping us out today. Strange times we're living in. We're all very much missing the TT this year, and you yourself come from a lifetime of motorcycle racing, don't you? How did you get started? What brought you in?
It's a funny story, I think, really. No interest in motorcycles. Went to a meeting, a race meeting, and suddenly thought, you know, I'd love to do that. And that started things off. And I started racing in 1957. And, you know, I've broken lots of bones and broken back and so on, but no regrets at all looking back. None at all. Wouldn't change a thing.
And you're still heavily involved in motorsport, aren't you? I know you're very humble about this. However, you do play quite an important role in sponsoring some of the new riders that are coming up on the road, don't you?
Well, when I was racing, just as today, it was all your money went into racing and it wasn't enough. So you had to rely, or hopefully rely on somebody. An old boy, Bill Latcham, helped me no end, sponsor me, and I can always remember he said to me, Pete, if you find you're in a position one day to help somebody else out, do it. And I've been fortunate enough to have done reasonably well for myself, so now I can help others out. And that's what I'm doing. And the kids are brilliant, honestly. They, you know, mainly youngsters, and they really appreciate the help you give them. Wouldn't change a thing.
Thank you so much, Pete. I would love to shake your hand and give you a hug, but of course we're not allowed to. But sending a virtual hug from this side with many, many thanks.
Thank you very much indeed. I hope this helps people. I really do.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your help today. I really appreciate it. We're living in strange times. We're looking at children that aren't going to be able to take their GCSEs and A-levels. Now, when you were growing up, your education was disrupted for a very different reason, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I was a wartime child, and where I lived, in the village I lived, they evacuated the people from Liverpool. So we only went to school for half a day, because there was just nowhere to put us, so we went half a day to school, and that was it, right through the war.
And so since then, you've seen some massive changes in our society and our communities. Have you ever experienced anything like this before?
No, I mean, in the war, I mean, everybody looked after everybody else, and I think if they did the same this time, which I have found here this week, how many kind neighbours, friends, families that you've got. It's amazing what's happened this week with the people around here that I've never even spoken to. People stop me in the street, can we help you? You know, it's so kind, and if everybody tries and we do as we're told, we should come out of it.
Finally, it is a very difficult time going into self-isolation, isn't it?
Yes, it is. More so if you are alone. I mean, when you see the adverts on the telly, you do this, you can do jigsaws, you can play solitaire, but you can only do so much. And as I explained to you, they say, do play snakes and ladders. How do you play snakes and ladders on your own? You run from one side of the table to the other. You know, you've just got to find things to do. There's weeds in my garden, so let's get rid of those.
Oh, Joyce, thank you very much indeed for talking to us, and thank you very much for being part of the Rex Physio Flash Mob.
I just hope that everybody behaves themselves and then we'll get out of it.
Next exercise, shallow knee bends. Again, they can do this holding on. Right, they can do this holding on. I think we've got a bit of my flash mob's left me.